Okay, so here's my newest engine back from getting restored. This engine was restored by Rob Charles in Flemington, New Jersey. This is the second one that he's done for me. He's working on a side shaft horizontal Webster for me right now. This one here is approximately a 1903 5 horsepower Challange. I say approximately 1903 because this is only one of two of this style known to exist. The other one is owned by the Kriebel family down in PA. And they have the original bill of sale with theirs, which was from 1903, and it's serial number 39. My engine does not have a tag with it, and we could not find a serial number anywhere, so we know a little bit later, around 1905, it was a totally different design than this. So this is definitely not before 1903 and not after 1905. It's a very strange engine. As you see when I get it running, you'll see a lot of the weird stuff that goes on. Some of the really strange things is if we look down here, I don't know if we can see with the shadow or not, but there is no exhaust, intake valve spring. It's done by a big heavy ball, and you can move that ball in and out and you can change the tension of it. It's rather large for a 5 horsepower size engine. Another strange thing about a Challange engine, you see it has a stand built right on the cylinder where we keep the oil can. I'll just take that off and you can see what that is. That's just a big solid hunk of cast iron. It's a pretty cool feature. Also has a tapered connecting rod. And the strangest thing about this engine is things that happen on the left side of the engine make things work on the right side of the engine. Things that happen on the right side make things work on the left side. It's a water-cooled cylinder, but they're dry valve chests. The workings on this side, coming off the camshaft, that rod goes down to a little fulcrum arm and goes back and forth and works the igniter on the opposite side. And then the rocker arm, you might be able to see, is split here so it can rock back and forth on the exhaust valve. The governor starts on this side with the gear, then goes across, and the actual governor is a steam style governor on the opposite side of the engine. This engine was in pretty bad shape. It was missing a lot of parts. Thanks to Rob and his excellent machining, and the Kriebels for letting us take a look at their engine and borrow a few parts. We were totally missing the igniter, which Rob built from scratch. Roger Kriebel got lucky enough to find that carburetor on eBay. He knew what it was and bought it for very little money. I was missing the carburetor, so as you see, it's a very strange carburetor, and it's the proper one for the engine. That ball we talked about earlier on the intake valve, that's also something that was missing on this engine, and Roger just happened to have one. The story goes is they had an 8 horsepower Challange on the farm at the same time, and they had smashed it up for the war effort back during World War II. And when they did that, they saved a couple of the parts. That ball being one. The other part that they saved, which I was missing, was this handle and rod assembly right there, that black rod. And I'll come back around and I'll show you that. And that's just a very simple mechanism to shut the engine off. You just pull the rod forward when you're ready to kill it, and it goes and locks the exhaust valve. It was missing the governor, so we had to make the governor. Well, we got the governor out of a steam governor, but the shaft and gear Rob had made. We did not have the oiler tree, nor did we have a gas tank. This part here, the lever for the fuel pump actuator was missing. We casted one off of the Kriebel engine, and the fuel pump was missing, and we made drawings of that and made a new fuel pump. So I'm going to go ahead and start this engine up, and when it's running, you'll really appreciate all the wackiness of this. So I'm going to shut this down for a moment, get it running, and then I'll show you some video of it running.